Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Blank. Well, technically it's Daniel Blanc, but you know, a lot of people can't pronounce that for some reason. Anyways, so recently I graduated with my bachelor's in architecture at the Bernard and Ann Spitzer School of Architecture. It sounds so fancy, doesn't it? That's at City College in New York. Pretty much I've been born and raised in Brooklyn my whole life. And it was just really an interesting experience for me. Architecture is something I've always known I wanted to do since I was a little kid. I used to draw a lot actually, and only reason I don't so much today is because I've been so busy. But otherwise, drawing has always been a passion of mine, and it's something I wanted to translate into a career. Another thing I also really enjoy doing is helping people. I've taken those two things, art and my love for helping people, brought it together, and that's when I started looking into architecture. Ever since I was in 5th grade, I knew I wanted to do something with architecture. But another thing I actually loved doing since I was younger was actually video editing. So I'm not exactly new to YouTube. I've actually been on YouTube for, what was it? Maybe about 10 years now? Around 2010 or late 2009 to 2010. And back in the days, I actually used to make AMVs. So this is when I was in middle school. So I was around 12 to 13 at that time. And what was interesting about that for me was really taking something I love. I used to be a huge anime fan, and it was kind of like taking something I love and making art composition with it. So I used to do all these AMVs, and you know, eventually life got busy, so I wasn't really able to continue doing that. But one thing that really stuck with me was my love for video editing. So I was in middle school using programs such as Photoshop, Adobe After Effects. Back then, Premiere Pro wasn't really a thing, so what I really used was Sony Vegas. And I used Sony Vegas 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that was such a great video editing program at the time. So really, that's something that stuck with me, my love for editing. And I remember in high school, I did my, we had to do a project. It was called the Me Project, and you had to like talk about yourself. And what I ended up doing was actually doing a film project. And the way I filmed it was kind of like talking about myself, but in a humorous way. And I put all the clips together, and you know, I made the class laugh. And I realized that's something that was still a part of me, something I still love doing. But it wasn't until college, and really when I was learning about history through architectural lenses, that I actually felt the need to actually get my very first camera. And once I got my very first camera, that's when I started getting into photography. And I also realized there was a potential for me to also do filming as well, which back in the days when I used to film videos, it was usually on my little iPhone camera or the camera of whatever phone I had at the time. So this is something that stuck with me for many years. So during my academic career while I was in the architecture school, I've always found a way to bring photography, photo editing, even video editing into my work, and always found a way to integrate these things to kind of create a hybrid type of piece. So for example, I'm doing a rendering, so I use a lot of the things I learned regarding profile corrections, color corrections, to really find a way to kind of take an actual photograph and actually merge it with my rendering. That's just one example. And a lot of my friends, they saw my photography, they saw a lot of my work, and they would say, Daniel, why aren't you making a page? Daniel, why aren't you making a page? You gotta make a page, Daniel. So I made a page. My page is called DB Studios. If you're not following the page, you can just click on the link below. It's going to be in the description box. And basically this page, I wanted to feature some of my work. I wanted to show the various types of photography I've done, varying from landscape to portraits, and even some of the other projects I've done using my camera. So DB Studios, also known as Daniel Blank Studios, is a platform where I share my love for capturing moments through photographic and cinematic lens. But the overall theme of this page is about creating things, designing things. As an emerging professional myself, I felt that this page can also serve as a platform for other emerging professionals, other designers, whether you're a graphic designer, photographer, architectural student. These are all things I feel go hand in hand, and you might know a little bit of one thing to help you do your job in your field, right? A graphic designer, for example, knows Photoshop and all these programs, and an architecture student knows Photoshop, all these programs. So I want this platform to emanate that idea of all these sort of different skills and techniques coming together. And actually, one of DB Studios' first production is a project called Voice for the Future. This is a mini-series in which emerging professionals all speak on pressing issues and various different issues for that fact. Some of these topics range from immigration to identity to self-love. In this mini-series, which is coming out later holiday 2020, there will be 6 episodes where each person speaks on a different topic. So please stay tuned for that. Also, if you haven't seen the trailer already, please click on the card on either the top left or the top right corner of the screen. It will also be in the description box below. And please leave a comment. I would love to know what each of you think, whether it's on the cinematography or just on the overall theme of the project. Also, leaving a like if you want helps the YouTube algorithm push the video on more people's feed, so that will also help tremendously. Now, with that plug out of the way, here are 5 reasons why this channel might be the channel for you. Finally get into the title of the video, I know. So reason number 1, tutorials. Reason number 2, behind the scenes. Reason number 3, tips. Reason number 4, projects. And reason number 5, story time. So this channel is going to have a whole spectrum of tutorials. I'm going to talk about different cameras you can use, how to get a mastery over using your camera on manual mode rather than using it on automatic, and so much more. There will also be tutorials on various programs such as the Adobe suite. We have Adobe After Effects, Premiere Pro, Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator, and Encoder, so much more. Also, tutorials on rendering softwares. If you're an architecture student, this might really interest you. Rendering softwares such as V-Ray for Rhino, rendering softwares such as Lumion, V-Ray for 3ds Max, although I'm still learning that one. Also drafting softwares, AutoCAD. We have Revit, which is a semi-hybrid software, and also one of my favorites, modeling softwares such as Rhino 3D. Now, behind the scenes, I would like to show you how I do some of my projects, whether it's how I film for the trailer, what sort of equipment I'm using. If you have a tight budget, how can you use your budget effectively to get the best sort of equipment so you can have the best sort of experience while you're doing your photo shoot or while you're filming. So this leads us to point number 3. I want to offer tips on film, photography, architecture projects, graphic designs. Some of these tips can help you articulate yourself better with your project, or even make your idea a lot more bold or your design a lot more accentuated. And next is projects. So as I mentioned before, Voice for the Future is going to be the first of many projects I'm going to be featuring on this channel, and I would like to share some of these projects with you. And of course, I'm also open to suggestions, so if you have any ideas that you want to see for future projects, you can also leave a comment below and just share some of your ideas with me. And last but not least is story time. So what story time is essentially is me from time to time uploading a video talking about my experiences with architecture school, or just my experiences learning to film or learning to video edit or learning to do graphic design and all these things. And I would just want to share it with you just as a way that I can connect with you guys, and also it can also inspire you. Maybe you have an idea, or maybe you've been wanting to learn a program and maybe it's just something you haven't gotten to do yet, but it's really something that could probably even encourage some of you to actually maybe try some of these things out. And last but not least, a bonus reason is I'm funny. Okay, maybe not. But if those 5 reasons interest you, please subscribe to this channel, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Feel free to follow my business Instagram. Once again, link is in the description. So right now I actually have a portrait series and a landscape series on my Instagram. The portrait series for this month, and each month I do a theme. The theme for August for the portraits are emerging professionals, and the theme for the landscape is architectural jewels. So check it out, my page. Yep, there we go. There we go. Check it out, check it out. Don't have a lot of posts. This page is pretty fresh, but check it out. It's interesting. Yeah, here we go. Also stay tuned because I have my first tutorial coming today, Photoshop Basics, and I'm gonna actually run through how I edit some of these photos which I upload for the series. And it's gonna just be a quick, easy tutorial, more on a sort of beginner / intermediate level. If you're interested, stay tuned for that. All right, so I rambled long enough. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to check out the trailer if you haven't seen it before. It's going to be in the card on the top left or right corner of the screen, whichever side.